You on the guitar?
Yeah.
It is? That's legit.
Some of our stuff.
Shredding?
Yeah, we're live. Oh, what is up, everybody? MuseMe TV episode 91. What is up? And we got in the house, we got Niko. Say what's up, Niko.
What's up, everybody?
It's going crazy. They're going crazy. That's just, there it is.
All right. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Studio audience, that's what's up. Episode, I think this is your third appearance, right? Yeah, third appearance. Welcome back to the show.
Been a while, though.
Yeah, after the last one, what was the last episode you were on?
I was 61, and then I think pretty shortly after that. And 69. I was 69 as well.
Let's double check. We'll double check that. But fuck yeah, man. Welcome back. Fucking.
And now it's on 91.
91, yeah.
You know, I've been watching too.
Nah, yeah. You
I
always
comment on like every single one.
you tune in all the time and shit.
Sometimes they get a little bit out of hand.
I'm just like, fuck yeah. And some of the comment section gets a little crazy too.
Yeah, they do. I like this mic stand. This is a sweet setup.
Yeah, it's got a
When
little
you're
bit-
watching it too.
It gets better with the audio and everything. You can hear it so well. That's what I love to hear. Yeah, you're right. Episode 61 and then episode 69.
Yep.
That's what's up. And then here's back for episode 91, everybody. We got Niko in the studio. I'm just doing it.
All my fans out there.
Just giving some shout outs.
We're out here. This is the Quarantine Comedy Club.
I know, right? That's crazy. Isn't that, there's something, who was it? What's the guy's name? Alan, what's the guy's? He actually tried to he's putting on something right now that's actually probably going on.
Let's go crash it.
Let's go find out what's going on. I'll see what it looks like.
We'll go in live on that one.
I'm pretty sure I have to join his Discord. I'm gonna join
He said if you wanted to be on as a comedian, you could join the Discord.
Oh, okay. But you think you could just watch from where it's at on the other side?
Yeah, I saw you posted that on Instagram. His name's like Citrus in Your Eye or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's pretty cool, though. At least they're trying. He's trying something.
Have you seen Rusty's? Rusty Rutherford, shout out. Have you seen his?
What does he be doing? Quarantine comedy or something like that?
Dude, the first day, the solo comedy club. The first day was like corny jokes. And then the second day, he was dressing up as a drunk clown.
Okay, yeah. I do remember,
Instantly, it was
yeah.
like, all right, this is funny. And then it was like, and
Yeah.
then,
Didn't they do something with a bunch of other people too? The quarantine clowns. I was
yeah,
like,
what is he? He's like running on Central in clown makeup. From what I saw a few of those.
That was that was
Shout out to Rusty.
After a certain point, I wasn't into it.
I didn't know he did the clown type thing.
I thought he did improv. Improv was his first thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not speculating. I don't know. I'm actually going to try to have him on the podcast here soon. So
Nice.
I'll get to ask him all these questions and be like, so,
Cheers.
Yeah. What is this beer actually? Tell us what it is.
It's an IPA from La Reforma.
La Reforma.
Yeah. And to fill a full growler was like $7.
Nice.
Like, that's what I'm talking about.
And he brought a fucking jug, guys. This is a huge ass jug. If you guys didn't get a chance to see it. Look at that thing.
From the 1920s.
Dude, that thing's crazy.
I told him we were going to drink it on air.
It's not bad.
Right.
Tastes good.
Do you like IPAs?
I'm a fan of something that doesn't have a really strong taste to it, but still
IPAs are known for, being super hoppy.
nice.
But this one is not like overbearingly.
I never understand the difference between beers too. Like, okay, there's the IPA, then a Pilsner, and then a Corona.
Yeah.
Like, what's a Corona?
They're just different styles. And I'm not super, I don't know a lot, but for example, Budweiser is like a lager.
Okay.
And so that's like the lightest. And
Lager.
yeah, lager.
Lager.
It even says on the can. I came prepared. But it's like specifically Budweiser does, it says like 4 ingredients: hops, rice, and barley malt and water.
Weird.
Is all that's in there.
And then the fermentation process and all that shit.
So from what I know, the IPAs, they really just put like a ton of hops in them.
Okay.
And that's what gives it that really strong flavor. And it's like very closely related to the cannabis plant, hops.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's why it kind of, well, you can probably do the same thing with the fermentation process with the marijuana plant, right? The fucking hemp plant.
Give it the flavor of it.
That'd be crazy because there are a bunch of things that we should be using it for, but we don't, right?
Well, they are using it for everything now with CBD.
Yeah.
And then they are making hemp legal, so I think it is legal now actually to grow and make different products out of.
Well, that I hope so because there are there's a bunch of resources, like, you know how they always say, like, why isn't hemp made out of paper, or why isn't hemp rope and shit like that?
Well, from what I understand, the Declaration of Independence is written on hemp.
Yeah. There you go. You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here.
That's it. That's here. But oh man, do you believe that it was taken off because of some greedy politician, or not a politician, but some greedy businessman who had the monopoly on paper, who's like, hey, we build paper with trees, so let's make it illegal for marijuana or hemp to be grown because that's going to stop my paper production? Or was it just happened because people knew that it made people weird and shit?
Hemp?
Yeah, hemp.
I think from what I understand, when everything got in the 1920s,
Because you can't even get high off of hemp.
right, it's like 0% THC.
Like, it's weird.
But from what I understand, how can I turn this?
Go ahead.
From what I understand, when they were like making weed illegal in the 20s because of the jazz and, you know, reefer madness.
Yeah.
I think hemp, they were just like, well, we'll ban that too. Because they probably really didn't. I'd be surprised if in the 100 years ago they knew about THC.
Okay.
You know?
Like the barely aspects of it, or
Right.
anything at all.
So they're just like, this looks exactly like it, because it does look exactly like it as well. And grows exactly like it, just doesn't have the THC.
Okay.
So they're probably just like, well, we're going to ban all this stuff together.
And
it just got swept up under that. But I've also heard, like, people think it could be the cotton market, or the big cotton or big paper that banned it.
Who knows? I don't know. That's one of those things. It's just a conspiracy, I guess, or just it's too far in the past. Like, that's what I hate about history and shit, is that it's already happened, and we have to account of it just by what somebody wrote. Okay.
Well, the good thing about history is it's repeating itself, and now we're like reliving the Roaring '20s.
You think so?
With this coronavirus.
What was another virus that hit in the 20s?
The Spanish flu hit in 1917 and wiped out 1/3 of European population.
Oh shit.
So that was like a major shift. And like, my grandma was born in 1902, and her
1902. Your grandma.
No, great grandma.
Your great grandma. Yeah, because
passed away.
my great grandma was born in 1912.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right around the same time.
yeah.
So my great grandma's mom passed away from the flu. So that's also why Roaring '20s was so great, because we got out of that and people lived. But now history literally repeats itself. So now we're going to be going low tech and basically be living like in the 1900s.
With
Like,
just
we'll still have computers and the internet and Facebook, but it's going to be like transportation is going to be way different, because this coronavirus, in my opinion, is basically like anti-globalization. So all the advancements that we've made over the past like 200 years with travel and going to different countries and things like that, and now people aren't even going to travel to any countries, and they're even saying you can't leave your house. Like in California and New York just passed that as well.
because they're even trying to like make curfews and shit. That's crazy to think about, because I know they can't really implement them as a law, but
They could.
Well, okay. Here's crazy thing to think
Federal
about.
government could, and the mayor already passed laws to be able to do that in Albuquerque.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know they closed down a lot of shit, but
And that was from the governor, so she could very easily, the next step, if there's a group of people more than 10, they'll try to break it up.
really, they'll even go up and ask you questions and shit.
And if a business continues to operate, they'll go close it down. So that is martial law, and the next step is literally just going to be a curfew, which I would imagine is going to become pretty quickly because of everything they've been doing in New Mexico too has been way more liberal than even California. So they've been instituting the ban on more than 100 people when they passed that.
Okay.
It was the first and the most stringent in the country at the time. And then now the CDC is saying no group gatherings larger than 10 people.
And if you are, they should be like 6 feet apart or something, right? Some ridiculous amount.
Yeah. The social distancing.
Yeah.
And all that happened in like 3 weeks.
Oh, man. And they just pushed it all in because I remember there was somebody on Facebook ranting and stuff like, I can't believe that the government was able to stop all of my, like, pretty much their income, their child care, like all of this stuff in just a matter of a couple weeks.
Closing school, like when we were in school, for it to be closed for 3 weeks was
Unheard of.
Never happened ever. Probably,
That's true.
you know what I mean? For public schools to be closed down for 3 weeks.
And then, oh man, that's crazy.
And businesses for probably at least 3 weeks as well. But no school, no NBA, no NFL,
No, nothing.
no March Madness.
Yeah, and that time too, right at the beginning of that. Fuck.
So there are probably, hopefully, a lot of people watching us because they got nothing else to do.
Right, because you guys got to stay inside and just be scrolling through your damn feed.
Quarantined.
Just finding out what's really going on in the world.
The truth.
Thanks again for joining. We got 2 viewers on right now, so just holla at your boy. We're here hanging out, talking about whatever comes to mind. This actually does taste pretty good.
You like it?
It's got not bad.
Right?
It's pretty strong too. What the fuck? I'm gonna get buzzed right
IPA.
away, dude.
IPAs are
They
like
fucking-
7%.
So yeah, that's pretty sick. Fucking, what else were we gonna? Oh yeah, what do you feel about? Is it really gonna happen? Do you think Trump is really gonna give everybody $1,000?
Oh, okay. Listen to this. They just passed that to where everybody's going to get up to $1,200
Okay.
in May and in April, so twice. And they're going to distribute. So you know how Obama did the $1 trillion bailout
Yeah.
in like 07 or 09? All that went to banks and like buying out their stock and saving the banks. This one is going to go much more towards all the people that that just got fired, so now they have no income.
How is that going to be distributed?
Dude,
though,
it's
and
going to be a
determined?
check in the mailbox.
Literally.
Yeah. So probably signed Donald Trump.
What?
It'll be like the Treasury Department, but so this is the coronavirus is a huge societal shift.
Okay.
Because of all the things we just talked about, where literally it's going to be rather than so power normally like accumulates, just like banks get bigger and the federal government gets stronger and things like that. This is going to be the opposite, where the power and the money is going to get decentralized away from banks, because now there's going to be no evictions that happen. They can't cut off your water. They can't cut off your power. And so it's going to be basically like whatever four walls you have is going to be very similar to the breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991 when the Soviet Union fell.
Okay.
Basically all the industries that the government owned all went into private hands. And like, for example, when the USSR was operating previously to the fall of the Berlin Wall, the really high-end politicians got these out-of-town dachkas. So they were like vacation homes out of Moscow. So they would go there on the weekends. Everybody would just go to like the countryside.
Yeah.
So all the top people had like the nicest places. And that was all paid for by the government and funded by the government. So then basically when the Soviet Union fell, whichever place you were in became your house, and then you privately owned it. And people own that same thing happened with like mines and the transportation system and the oil and all the businesses in USSR. So this is going to be very similar to that same thing, where it's going to be a major like $1 trillion, $500 billion is going to get sent out to American taxpayers alone. So that's a major transfer of wealth. So it's going to be...
And that's going to be distributed. Well, obviously, when the American public gets that money, then they go ham and do whatever they need to and start buying whatever to, I guess, not re-stimulate the economy, but in their area, right? Or whatever they need in that. I mean, I guess. I don't know how it really
because
works.
otherwise with that, think about, like, now all the businesses are closed in Albuquerque. Like, literally, you can't go to a restaurant. It's essential businesses. But you can't, like, go into a restaurant and the gyms are closed. And so all the tipping people, everybody who survives off of tips is basically going to be unable to pay any of their bills. So then that they're going to be able to pay the landlord, who won't be able to pay the mortgage, who won't be able to pay the bank. And then the bank won't be able to pay its bills. So it could be like a total... And what's also wild is how quickly this has happened. You know what I mean? Like 3 weeks ago. We were just barely like hearing about it. And now it's like...
It's affecting us and everything. Changing even the way the dynamics is, because you see the stock market crashing and shit. Crashed.
And normally for it to go down like 30% would take 2 years. And that took 2 weeks. It was like, oh, well, I guess we just had a correction. And it was built in with, you know, if it loses 7% in one day, then it would stop trading. If it loses 7% in that daytime, it'll stop trading for 15 minutes. And if it loses like another 7, it'll stop trading for another 15 minutes. And then eventually it'll like cut out. That had only happened like once in 2008. And it happened 3 times in the past 2 weeks.
Okay.
Including twice on the same day.
Damn.
It's like, holy crap.
So do you think that would actually cause something like inflation prices on us to rise? Like in small commodities, like maybe food or like water or like milk?
Well, can you buy toilet paper now?
Well, see, that's the thing. It's scarce, but would it raise the prices?
Well, what's interesting too, that... Now they're really going against price gouging too. You know what I mean? They're like, if you don't have it, fine, whatever. But if you are trying to gouge on it, like I saw on Facebook, and I don't know if this was real, but it was El Pinto restaurant on like 2nd Street. They were selling different basic commodities at like super inflated prices. Like they were trying to sell roll of toilet paper $2. And a can of Coke, $2, and like a hamburger patty for $6.
What?
So everybody was like, F this place.
But it just, I don't know. Did it seem real, or was that one of those Facebook booths?
I was like, what the heck? That was what I was wondering. I'm like, I don't know if this is real or not.
And that's what's so crazy too. In this kind of like pandemic that's going on,
everybody at home getting all their news from Facebook, joking, sharing memes.
Makes it worse.
Like, dude. And then actually there was this Facebook page. So I just got my Facebook back, as you know.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, fuck this. So I just got my Facebook back. And then one of my buddies, I see a post from him, right? And I'm like, wow, I can't believe he said this. Because he's like a radio personality. And I'm like, I can't believe he said this. So I go to the page, and it was like a fake page, but using his picture.
Oh, really?
I'm like, dude. And it said, once you clicked on it, it said parody/satire. But still, I mean, it was literally his picture and his name.
It made it seem like it was him.
I'm like, what the heck? And so now everybody's just separated into like silos where they can't go home, can't go leave. And then getting all their news from Facebook. This is not good.
Yeah.
This is not good at all.
That's the hardest part to deal with, is that like they get misfed information, and then it just turns into other like, oh, then it's okay to do this, or oh, we're going to do this.
Oh, dude. That's another. Okay, so Sandoval County, Rio Rancho.
Yeah.
Is like, they requested to release all the inmates from their jail that were there for like misdemeanors and nonviolent felonies.
Very something small.
So, and then they were like, don't. And then they also requested like the police force not to arrest people who would fall in that category as well. So then it's like total basically anarchy at that point.
Wait, but okay, so they're trying to implement so small laws being broken.
Right.
So would they still be given a warning or kind of scared for instead of being sent to jail? Okay, think of it this way: like, okay, we're not going to send this guy to jail for having weed on him, but yet we'll still, like, you know, rough him up, scare him.
We're gonna beat him up. That's what they're gonna do. They'll be like, we can't arrest him, so let's rough him up, and he'll learn his lesson.
In a way that just freaks people out. I don't know and that's so crazy to think about too. Would it be so much of a sense that the ones from is that everywhere? So every police force kind of has to abide by that, or was that only in Sandoval County?
That was just in Sandoval County.
Okay,
like,
so
what the hell are you thinking? Then it's like literally inviting people to be like, well, let's go steal from Walmart, for example.
That's true.
And then now, though, have you seen like how much police are outside of every Walmart?
I haven't noticed that
Dude,
yet.
I mean, I don't.
Is it pretty bad? I gotta go check that out.
Like 2 or 3. And then I went to Sam's Club like a few days before it really started getting crazy. And I got like one of the last toilet paper things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the bulk ones.
Dude, after that, seeing Sam's Club sold out, like, oh, damn, the apocalypse is near.
Everything is like kind of. Why would people buy everything in a sense that they don't think it's going to replenish itself?
Well, and that's, you know, a lot of people are minimizing. They're like, oh, who cares? Why are you buying so much toilet paper? Yeah. But what that shows is that, like, how fragile that system is. And yeah, they probably will be resupplied. But as there's like a 14-day lockdown, people kind of did know that they needed for at least food and everything for like 14 days. But people are thinking that it may be lasting even longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if you don't get it and there is a shortage, it's even worse than being like, well, I got it. And then since they can't price gouge either, it's like, well, I might as well get it and have it.
Yeah.
But it also just shows like how fragile that whole system is. You know what I mean? And the fact that it was only toilet paper, not a big deal. If it starts to be food, and actually there were a lot of, even in Albuquerque, the stores like bought out and empty
like
shelves.
Like the meat and all the fucking canned foods and shit like that.
It was like, damn, this is
This
freaky.
girl's like, I can't find ramen. Like, holy shit, you can't find ramen in the world? That's, oh man. And I don't know if this is true or not, but did they say something about guns not being able to be sold anymore and stuff?
Yeah. So during the whole, when everybody's panicking and everything,
yeah, it makes it even worse.
I had to go. I was like helping out 2 political campaigns, right? So we were at the gun store, getting signatures.
Yeah.
And they were sold out of all their ammo and everything. And so I just heard all these people going in and be like, "Do you have 9mm? Do you have 9mm?" And they're like, "Oh no, we're sold out." So then, as I was like almost done on the last day, we found a secondary box. I was like, man, I better buy some, some ammo. But it literally is like sold out everywhere. And then that's something too that the mayor has, that they passed like under his emergency powers, is that he can prevent the sale of gasoline in Albuquerque and the sale of like firearms and bullets as well.
Okay.
So
that's something to look out for.
He can like limit it to 1 gallon for you to put 1 gallon in your car.
Really? That would be kind of scary.
Dude, get no gas, no food. It's like, oh. So I just been kind of thinking about these things, paying attention to the news.
Yeah, you guys hear that out there?
Like a lot of people.
What do you guys think about the coronavirus pandemic that's going on? Has it affected you in your area? Are you scared? Can it do more?
The corona apocalypse.
Right? It's that time.
Well, that's the other thing. We're just starting now.
That's what people say. It's going to last until the summer, so.
They may, till like August is probably going to be the CDC saying limits of 10 people. Groups of 10 people. But it may never even change, too. This may be like the new
norm.
The new normal for at least a long time.
Yeah, right.
Years. Because from what I understand,
people just adapt it, right? They're just like,
just stay at home, I guess.
We got to just do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you don't really see it still. I still see people posting up like, "Oh, I'll still go outside," or "Oh, I'm hashtag still doing my thing."
Well, some people are very scared, like you mentioned, and some people are like, I don't care, it's the flu, which is way worse than the flu.
Right.
And we have like no immunity to it whatsoever.
Puffy Stabby said, Ozzy ate a bat. He never had coronavirus. I think we're fine. So, I mean, who knows? Do you believe that theory that it came from like the wet market thing? Like the Chinese kind of fucking around with a bunch of like dead animals?
There's so many different conspiracies. Like one thing I heard, and this was when I first heard about it, when it was like not even on the radar or anything like that.
Yeah.
But someone was saying because in Wuhan they do have like a research laboratory for infectious diseases, from what I understand, where they have a lot of these viruses there.
Okay.
So some people were saying that like this was created in a lab to prevent Hong Kong from doing their demonstrations anymore, but that someone broke into the lab and broke a vial in the market in Wuhan, and it got out that way.
Interesting.
So I've heard very many different things.
And so they thought that it was going to be used to stop Hong Kong, but it kind of backfired on them.
Yeah. And actually it did stop all the demonstrations in Hong Kong. So it did what it was.
But to whose advantage? To China's or to Hong Kong?
To China's.
China's has the advantage on that one.
And then I also heard like one country that's having no problems with this whatsoever is Russia.
With the virus?
Yeah. Like they have no cases in Russia.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And now China is saying that America, U.S. Army put it in Wuhan and they were the ones that spread it. So now there's just going to be total
Conspiracy wars.
Between countries and everybody just on Facebook putting their, you know what I mean, spin on it for months and months. This is going to be wild.
That's crazy to think about, man.
During an election year.
That too, right? Because in that instance, like, do we need somebody that can actually pull through this in like in a political kind of like way that doesn't like, I don't know, like isn't trigger happy or anything? Or do we need somebody that does have their finger on the trigger, not scared to be like, hey, dude, fuck you? Like,
well, everybody's going wild on the Trump thing. You know, some people are saying that he did really bad at this, and some people are saying he did really good at this.
yeah, see, that's crazy to think about too.
And it just depends like who you listen to, who you talk to, what information you get. Either he did the worst job ever or the greatest job ever.
Because I honestly think what he's doing is like kind of like the dumbest thing ever, but yet in such a dumb way that it's freaking everybody out, and it's like playing the part so well. Like he's so good at playing the part. Like
Of being dumb?
No, like he fakes what he's doing so well that he made what he's doing actual reality. Like he's like making it more like we'll combat the virus, we'll help all the Americans, and people are freaking out now where they're just like, oh no, now it's turning into a socialist idea or whatever. But then at that aspect, like what's gonna happen when fucking like China or somebody else actually starts to push more because they feel like America is like weak and down or like isn't able to defend themselves or anything? Like, does this cause more war? That's what I want to know.
Well, like 90% of medicines in American medicines are made in China. So, I mean, it is so interwoven and so complex and complicated. And that's why this is like literally reversing globalism step by step. You know what I mean? Like it took us from like 1945 building up all this to be a globalist, like one economy, one world, one like society. And now this is like slowly shutting that down. Step by step, we're going to be like undoing the steps that we were doing previously.
The first time, yeah.
Because now we're going to have to do like a lot more manufacturing in America, which is of course going to make everything more expensive.
Yeah.
So like medicines, if medicines are super expensive.
Yeah, people are going to freak out.
So, you know, and that's why it was done in China, was because of the low cost and everything. And then now we're starting to find out like all this stuff about like the, bat soup. And do you know what,
Bat soup.
yeah. Do you know what that was called? It's like Chinese cooking grease, something like that. Sewer grease or something like that. But basically it's like a cooking oil that they make from their sewer. It's nasty. And like 10% of all the food eaten in China is based upon this stuff. Carla talked about it in her set once. Or at least a few times. But I can't remember what it's called now.
What would be a good term to look it under? Like Chinese grease?
Yeah, Chinese cooking grease, something like that.
Oh man, that even just sounds bad.
I watched this video and they're like scooping out of the sewer and then they heat it up and turn it and then cook the street food with it.
Recycled oil and sewage is used to cook Chinese street food.
Yeah.
The making of gutter oil.
Gutter oil, yep.
The making of it, dude. That sounds gross.
It's even worse to watch.
That's crazy to think about though, that they found a way to like even more to like fucking find resources and shit like that.
Well,
like,
see, and they have 1.3 billion people in China alone, and they did have like extreme poverty. So I mean, I don't know how real this stuff really is. I hope it's not real. I honestly hope that this is not real.
yeah, if you guys don't know, go look up gutter oil. Who knows? There's a little thing at the bottom over here to help out fucking to fund the whole part of the American government, the RFA.
And then people have shown too that then they cook it down. I mean, it's nasty. It's like I hope this is just like, I don't know how this could be real because they said like 10%. See, then they just put it in like a giant stew. They said 10% of the street food in China is made out of this. And then one thing too they've shown on YouTube is that like depending on which country it is, it'll say different things.
Jesus. You guys heard it here first, guys. If you guys didn't know about this, gutter oil in China. Yeah, see, look at that. Then you're just like, oh yeah, that's good.
It looked kind of good, but after seeing the way it's made and everything. But how could they make oil out of the sewer and it not be like totally make you sick?
Well, that boiling process and stuff, right? Isn't there like some kind of science that they're doing to it because of that?
Some type of separation, and yeah, they probably like filter it.
Yeah, they probably know something. But I mean, it's still kind of gross. I mean, it's probably not the healthiest for you.
Oh yeah, no way.
Oh man. So do you think the race for the cures is upon us? Like, are they really trying to cure the coronavirus?
Well, from what I understand about that too, the coronavirus is a name for a very large number of germs, including like the common cold.
Okay.
So just like we haven't figured out a vaccine for the common cold, they're thinking that the coronavirus, there's just not going to be, from what I understand, it could be very difficult to make a vaccine for that. And then even when you get it, it's not like your body builds up an immunity to it. You could get it again.
Oh, shit.
Dude, this is crazy.
But that's true of like any sickness, right? That's why we have to keep constantly getting like a flu shot and shit like that every year.
Well, the different strains, yeah.
Okay.
But you're not going to get like the flu 1 year and then get it the same year because you will have built up antibodies to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fucking latest thing that's trending on Twitter is that Xbox is down. Fucking see everyone at home trying to log in at once, dude. Yeah. Fucking ridiculous shit, dude. And man, as I scroll through it, like coronavirus is one of the biggest things. Like that's all they're talking about out there, man.
In the Twitterverse.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Like it's so much of an impact on our world that we've never dealt with something like this.
Dude, we're gonna be going through like the Great Depression.
No.
Yeah. And we're gonna be like the softest generation, being like, oh damn.
We have all the coolest shit to get through it, though.
Well, we do have there. That's true. I mean, there will be technology. It'll be like Mad Max, the desert. But some people will have a car, and they're like, all right, cool. And then just warlords and things like that, fighting over resources.
That'd be hilarious,
dude. I mean, I think that this really is like after a few weeks of, let's say, a lockdown and no transportation as well, because a lot of this does still, like the supply lines are still moving and things like that.
Yeah, because there's still a bunch of things still go. Like my delivery trucks to my work still go through, but they can't technically go in the building.
Oh, really?
They have to like leave it on the dock.
Oh.
And then we go through this whole process of putting it in the building and stuff.
But different safety precautions.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Like, it's kind of hard to think about. Like, is there going to be a point where we won't even get supply anymore?
I mean, and gas is so cheap right now, so that's throwing everything off.
Yeah, dude. You saw the one by my house?
I'm like, 166?
Yeah, dude.
I better top up right now.
Yeah, drive for a few hours just to go there.
Around, I was like, all right, I just got to get out of the house. And there were a lot of people like right on Louisiana, or no, San Pedro.
Yeah.
And Lomas. You know that like Hastings, where Hastings used to be.
Okay, yeah.
There was probably like 100 cars in there.
Oh shit!
I'm like, are they going to Hastings? But I think it was a car club.
Oh, okay.
I look like, I'm guessing.
Bunch of spreading the virus, dude.
It's like, man. But now the government is gonna straight up be like, swoop into those things and just arrest everybody.
Damn. Yeah, see that seems a little extreme because obviously you're gonna get those people that aren't gonna comply.
Oh yeah.
And then what is it gonna do? Cause a scene?
They were gonna close the meeting for City Hall when they were gonna pass those emergency powers.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, we can't have people in here, da da da. And I guess they ended up keeping it open. But when they were gonna close it, there's an extreme element that's like, you're not gonna close it without, you know what I mean? That's like, we're gonna go protest you closing it because we don't believe that you have that, you know,
rights.
the power. And so, from what I understand, they let people in because it looked like there was like 15 people in the audience. So it looked like they let people in, but not that many people showed up. So
oh shit!
It's probably like why they avoided. But yeah, at some point we're gonna be like 10 people will be hanging out, and the state police will be like, "Everybody get down."
Excuse me, everybody. You don't think you think it'll start off civil, or you think it'll be pretty just like get down, everybody's here. You guys, this is quarantine lockdown. I can't even imagine. Like, you know, you see all those fucking movies and scenarios and you hear all those conspiracies that one day they're actually going to start knocking on the door and kicking shit down and shit.
Well, look at how far we've come in like 2 weeks.
Well, did you see the videos of the ones in China where they actually locked people in their houses? Like they put metal door rods and shit like that.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, they like locked them in and they actually put them in like boxes inside their like vehicle.
Oh,
did you see that? Those ones? Those are that's what I
wild.
don't know.
I saw one where it looked like Chinese police were running through a subway. Did you see that one? And it was like a packed subway, and for some reason they just start going through like pepper spraying a ton of different people.
What?
They're just running through the subways. Like, what are you trying? It maybe looked like they were looking for somebody, but they run through and just start spraying down all the people. See, I mean, I don't know how true any of this stuff is. If that was from China, if it was from recently, it's like kind of hard to know.
Yeah, see, that's the crazy part too. Is like how far, how much is it? Yeah, see, this is from February 9th. But this is them being like forced out of their home and shit like that.
Oh, oof.
See, in this video, Chinese police forced family into a coronavirus quarantine.
Well, see, and then thinking kind of conspiracy, then they could just be like, you have coronavirus, we're going to take you into quarantine.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense too. Like,
you know, and some people are saying, I mean, of course I believe in coronavirus and all this. You know?
I believe in coronavirus. It's like Jesus. I believe in coronavirus.
I'm not for the same reasons on both of them. It's like, well, one way you go to hell, the other way you get really bad cough. So might as well.
I mean, yeah,
as well believe in them.
It technically is a serious thing. Like,
oh yeah,
even if it doesn't affect us in a way, like maybe it does get us sick and we have like a cough and we get over it within a few days and shit like that. Like maybe family that we deal with or friends that don't have the proper immune system that we do. Like,
yeah,
I can just think like fucking, because I work with old people. So if I get the sickness, and they say that you can have the virus for 3 days before you actually start to show symptoms.
Yeah.
So that's even crazy to think about, that you can be spreading it within 3 days that you don't even know you have it.
Well, and I think they quarantine people for 14 days as well.
Really?
And then the first boat that they had everybody on, the Princess Diamond.
Yeah.
That one, that they basically did everything wrong and spread it. Like I heard a few weeks after that, they were tabulating all the coronaviruses by country.
Okay.
Like this one had this many, this one had this many. And they had a separate line just for that boat. And it was more than any of the other ones.
Just like that. That's the next one that built on it.
It's like, man. And there's still some people flying too.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
They're like, oh, it's only $200 to fly. And then they got to get quarantined.
Hey, let's go check it out.
Dude, and then the cruises were still trying to get people on the boats.
Aren't those people quarantined as well?
Dude.
Like they can't even leave that boat?
There's a few of them
that are kind of like that.
Yeah. But I mean, I think now at this point, it's just been so out of control.
I thought that was one of the stupid things too. Like they've shown so many pictures of what the molecule of the virus looks like.
I'm like, where's the crown? I don't see no crown.
Right? Or
and then sometimes they look different.
Yeah, or it's like they show you the little things like, look out for this. How the fuck am I supposed to look out for that? It's supposed to be microscopic.
There was this one senator who went out to eat with his kids when they were telling everybody not to go out to eat.
Okay.
And he's all takes a picture with him and his kids, right?
Yeah.
And some people photoshopped that molecule all over the picture.
What?
And I'm like, damn, that does look pretty bad to see. You know what I mean? To like see him kind of the same size, the same scale.
Okay, so I follow this channel on YouTube called China Uncensored.
Oh, nice.
It's a really cool guy that does like stories about what's going on in China and shit like that.
Does he go to the markets where they buy all the...
He actually
stuff is awesome.
He's been there before, but what he's talking about now is pretty crazy. Hey, everybody, what's up? How you doing? We got a couple people here from Illinois. Fat Cat, Corey, Hunter.
Corey who?
Corey Johnson, Illinois. I don't know, just has question mark on. Thank you guys for joining. We're here talking about the coronavirus. We're about to listen to a video. If you guys aren't subscribed, subscribe, and also check out China Uncensored. There's actually a character in China that impersonates Mr. Bean. You know who Mr. Bean is, right? And
my comedy inspiration.
And he's actually fucking telling people that it's okay. Shout out. Thank you for that follow. You guys are awesome.
See, I bring the subscribers.
Bro,
I'll bring the subscribers.
Keep it coming, guys. I love you guys. We got this coming on all the time. All right, anyways, this is what's happening. Here we go.
More. Then again, maybe he'll gratefully volunteer his lungs for transplant. And you know who's really not grateful? Tibetans living overseas. In New York on Tuesday, 1,000 Tibetan protesters came out to commemorate the anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party liberating
another subscriber?
Tibet
We got
in
another guy.
1959.
Cha-ching.
Liberating Tibetans from their lives, that is. At least they're grateful to be in America, where they can protest the Communist Party without getting their organs harvested.
Yep.
Speaking of crimes against humanity, there's a Mr. Bean impersonator in China.
Crimes against
Mr.
humanity.
P.
Whoa.
That's
Mr. P.
like the vegetable, not...
Mr. P?
Never mind. Here's Chinese state-run CGTN.
It should be Mr. Rice.
Nigel arrived in Wuhan in January for tourism purpose and chose to stay there after the outbreak.
Yes, he chose to stay there. And ever since, he's become a propaganda
so much
tool
money.
for the Chinese
Because look what he
Party.
does.
Widely circulated clips of Mr. P show him enjoying the lockdown life in Wuhan and applauding the government's brave decision to quarantine the city.
I'll do that.
Yes, nothing says
Right, if you
brave
got the
government
money, dude.
decisions like locking up citizens.
Oh, we're loving it over
Safety
here.
measures that are taken here on a daily basis by the population of Wuhan are nothing short of being incredible. The government have done an amazing job.
I hope Mr. P enjoys his 15 minutes of fame as a Mr. Bean impersonator who shills for the Chinese Communist Party. And I thought nothing could be more humiliating than doing community theater.
Well, that's true.
See, so that's what's crazy enough too, is that they are actually getting people to like. China does some fucked up shit, dude. Oh my god!
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna post on Facebook how great it is to be locked down in Albuquerque.
Oh man, it's crazy.
I love lockdown.
Yeah, make sure to check that out. China Uncensored. That guy's amazing. You get all the latest news from what's going on over there on a different point of view.
That looked like it was Mr. Bean.
Right?
It probably was.
Yeah, that impersonator.
Didn't look
guy.
like a person. It looked just like him.
That's Mr. P, dude.
Mr. P. locked
Mr.
up.
P. Anyways, guys, shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for joining. If you guys want us to talk about something else, give us a heads up. I don't know why they keep saying Illinois. Do you know anything about Illinois? I don't know anything
I
about.
think they're under lockdown too.
Isn't Chicago? That's in Illinois, right? Chicago's in Illinois. I don't know nothing.
Maybe
I went
it's
to public
Obama.
school.
Maybe it's Obama.
Right? Then we got a bunch of people here hanging out. Thank you guys again. Fucking
Shout out.
just here hanging out, bro. Give a plug. Where do you want them to find you at? Dude, no, nobody wants you to find.
I'm on Facebook
doesn't want to be
for
found
at least
anywhere.
a couple more weeks until I delete it again.
Don't you do some good tweets and stuff like that? You still doing that? You still tweeting out?
Yeah,
Make sure-
but I tried to get into Twitter, but it's just not as much like. You know what I mean? I
But
just
yeah,
send stuff out there, and
but
it's
they
like
say
not
that-
a lot of response.
But they say that Twitter's more popular than both of those two.
I've tried, but dude, when I have Facebook, at least it's like people that I do know, and I kind of know what's going on. With Twitter, it's just like separated almost from reality, in my opinion.
Yeah.
People in New Mexico use Facebook. You know what I mean? Like they've also shown different geographic regions have like different social media, and I just think like Facebook is the one for here.
That's crazy to think about. Well, we have a center here, right? Don't they have a Facebook center in Los Lunas?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about that?
Which they stopped building it because of the coronavirus.
Really?
Yeah.
So it
So I
wasn't
thought it was
even-
built,
Yeah, I thought it was done too.
but I guess they stopped some type of.
And it was
construction on
just for datas.
Yeah, right.
Like all they have is servers there.
in Las Lunas of all places, right like up from the Walmart.
Yeah.
I think it's like right next to the Walmart even.
Yeah, and at the Walmart distribution center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that center or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's
But find me on Facebook, Joaquin Roybal.
yeah. He's
Also on Twitter,
I don't know if you
Niko
want
Speakeasy.
to start talking about it, but man, this guy's a political guy, bro. He's in there, always
Starting drama.
He's trying to turn tables here in New Mexico. He's trying to, man. Like literally,
It's fun.
It's crazy to think about too, because like that's a whole different game. Like that's a whole different aspect. There's probably people that are fucking shady in there. Probably people that are just like you probably look at them and you're just like, wow, no wonder you're in the spot you're in. Like,
Well, it's more like I think it's almost the opposite actually.
tell me more. Tell us.
Like it's actually very, in my opinion, it's very. What's interesting is that I got into comedy and politics like kind of around the same time. You know what I mean? So in my opinion,
Give me a little bit more of that bad boy.
I got to see both sides of. I got to see like the similarity between the two of them. You know?
Yeah.
And so it is very similar to comedy, where it's a lot of like politics and egos and things like that. But in my opinion, the politics, like especially the people, to get to that level, you have to be pretty successful, pretty much at whatever you did, and then you kind of like rise to that level. So in my opinion, it's been a lot of like really professionally accomplished people, and people that are almost like on a next level of like organization and things like that as well.
Okay.
And debate and quickness of thinking. It's like, damn, I would not want to debate you. So I think that, and I mean, I've always been into politics. I think we talked about like I was student body president in New Mexico Tech.
Yeah.
And at that point I was
Some
like,
of his credentials.
some of my street cred, my younger days.
Yeah.
And so I like,
See, no, that's what I love is that you're still adding to that with what
Right.
you're doing now. Like even if you do, however you put it, it's still putting more on what you're doing. Well, now I've actually worked with politicians that are actually trying to run for an office,
like federal,
yeah,
the top.
exactly. It's not like, oh, this guy's fucking city councilman. Like, you know, somebody's actually trying to run for Senate or House of Representative office.
And even then, like city council, sometimes people's entire political careers after like 20 years end up at city council.
Really?
You know what I mean?
So that's crazy to think about too.
So it's like, damn, like for Obama to have such a political rise was wild the way that it happened. But some people will spend like 40 years to get to city council, or, you know, will never become mayor or anything like that. And that was one thing that I was cool about my school, is like so small that I think if I would have went to a larger school, I maybe not would have won student body president. But it was smaller, so there's like more opportunities. Okay. And so when I did that, I was like, man, I don't know, politics is kind of a little too much for me. And then, but I like being behind the scenes a little bit more.
Okay. So yeah, like being able to still make decisions, but not the one
actually,
that gets affected by the influence.
You would think that you're more powerful, like as an elected official, but in America, there's so many rules and restrictions, you know, like around the president. He's not a dictator. He's not the king. He can't do anything. He has to do he's restricted by so many laws and rules. Okay. You know, so.
And that's true of like any kind of democracy, right? Mm-hmm. Like we kind of, that's why it's set in that kind of motion for no one ruler can do that kind of shit.
Well, and that is one thing that is bad that's happening in New Mexico, is that like the governor and the mayor are just really having a lot more power than they really should. Like the mayor being able to suspend selling of gas and ammunition and firearms and closing the businesses, and like the governor closing the businesses and saying you can only operate at 50%, and then now everywhere is closed.
Because that makes me so uneasy. Like, I've never wanted a gun more. Now that I can't have one,
dude, that's what everybody's been saying too. Is like, well, I stay home all day long every day, but once the government tells me to do it, it's like, hell no,
I need a gun.
Hell no,
Puff Stabby, give me a gun.
That's the American though. That's like American dream. You know, that's the American ethos. Is like, you're not going to tell me, the government's not going to tell me what to do. Yeah, that's true. You know what I mean?
And that's what's beautiful about the way of American life, is because that's how it kind of was founded on. It's like
freedom
of government. Yeah. Like, we were fucked over so much by the England government from Europe and all that shit that we're just like, no, let's just fucking try it ourselves. And we ended up coming up with this, but which is kind of still turning into something else, which isn't still as free as we'd like it to be, because, you know, there are some of those laws and stuff that get passed that kind of limit our freedom, like the Patriot Act and shit like that, like illegal wiretapping and being able to know where we're at all times and shit like that.
Yeah,
that kind of throws me off, where it's just like, what happened to total land of the free? But yet they say, like, create a pandemic and then people will give away, or create the problem and people will give away their freedoms. That's what's kind of crazy to think about in this time right now.
See, and I think there's definitely a balance to that. Like, there does need to be, of course, if there's a global pandemic or war, the government does need to be stronger. But also, some people are even calling this like totally manufactured by the government, which it may be as well.
Yeah.
But either way, even if in a pandemic, there is like still the Bill of Rights that limits everything, you know, no matter what, even in war. So I think it definitely is like, that's why I try to stay as active as possible, because this is like so complex, you know, and you really got to like keep the politicians doing their job the right way and not just like grabbing power like they want to, because that's the most natural inclination. And that's what literally the Bill of Rights was created to do, was to keep us like safe from government overreach.
Yeah, like government power.
And the thing is too, is like, you know, I on my Facebook, I read a lot about King Keller, because that's what the mayor of Albuquerque is creating, is like a kingdom where literally is like, this is what I want, this is how it's going to happen. It's like, no, there's rules.
Hey, you leave him alone, man. He likes heavy metal.
The heavy metal mayor?
That's the only thing I like about him. I don't know a lot of his policies and shit, but every time I've gone to a concert, he was there, and then the band introduces him. I'm just like, there you go, great.
There you go, right?
How, I don't know anything else about you, But
I'm voting for this guy.
But I only know that I like him because he likes heavy metal. Like that's so ridiculous. Right? There you go.
That's interesting.
Right? That shows you
Yeah,
how much he appeals to the people.
Yeah, it does actually. It really does.
That little aspect of that.
Because he promotes everything like the Metal Mayor, and even I saw he did a press release a couple of days ago where his coffee mug said the Metal Mayor on it.
Oh my God. See, that's so okay, that's kind of dumb. That's kind of dumb.
That's like Donald Trump's "You're fired." That's like his "You're fired."
That's so true.
He like, hey, everybody vote for me. Don't forget, I'm the Metal Mayor.
But still, oh man, I guess if you have a brand, go with it, right? I mean,
that's what a lot of politics is like. Literally name recognition.
The Metal Mayor. I did not
Metal
know
Mayor.
that. See, I didn't know that.
That's wild. That's I didn't know your side of it either. Like knowing him from the metal, the metal aspect of it.
Yeah, because I'll go to a metal concert and then all of a sudden the metal band will just be like, I don't know if you guys know this, but your mayor is a metal fan.
Damn, that's some advertisement.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
some freaking advertisement.
That's crazy.
See, and metal in this town, dude. Like the only music in this town is metal.
And that's a bunch of people that like, yeah, it's appealing. Like a venue, maybe like the Sunshine Theater is packed with like what 300. There you go. 300 voters just like that because he's the Metal Mayor. The Metal Mayor.
Damn.
Do you want more concerts?
That's genius. When I was running for student body president, I was like, we're gonna have pizza every Friday.
Yeah, see, and it was a political thing to try to shoot it out there.
It works.
Okay, so they were talking about Illinois. Shit was going on in Illinois. I guess the mayor of Illinois actually did a lockdown order.
Oh yeah,
starting on Saturday at 5 p.m.
Freaky,
right?
See, that is when you want to have
a gun.
Yeah,
I need a gun.
Self-defense,
and that's not because of the people. That's because of the government.
Well, both. At that point,
okay, yeah, that's
me
true.
In the four walls.
That's true because you're in your home and then you have a certain amount of things, and then all of a sudden somebody wants it. You need a gun, or the government comes in and they're like, okay, we got to make sure what's going on here is regulated. You need a gun.
See but if it's the government,
that's going to be even harder.
They're going to come in with tanks and they're going to be like a memory, and then they'll smear you for the rest of history and the textbooks.
Okay, so do you know a little bit about like Chinese surveillance, like how well they've developed themselves? Like literally they have the capability of being able to like link themselves to like everyone's phone and being able to use the camera and everything like that. So they can do that stuff. Technically, America doesn't have the ability to do that because the technology of like Facebook and stuff like that is separate than the government. But what's not to say that in a global crisis or anything like this where they're just like, hey, can we access this? Can we please use this? We need this at any moment. Have you seen that have you seen The Dark Knight where he uses his actual it's like infrared because everyone's phone actually works as like a beacon of what's going on in the world. Like literally everyone is connected in a way that the government can just use it if they wanted to.
Well, see, and that goes to why like I'm a conservative and a Republican is because you either distrust big government or you distrust big business. And if you distrust big government, you're conservative, and if you distrust big business, you're liberal. And the one difference to me is that the government has the power to put people in jail. Whereas a private business, Facebook will never put you in jail. I mean, there's like Facebook jail.
Yeah.
And so by keeping those two separate and the government as small as possible, that's like the best way to mitigate all of those negative things. Whereas like in China, if it's all united and it's all powerful and it's all knowing and it's all seeing, it's like, damn, we got no fucking chance now, you know? And I heard too, like with the Wuhan, when this happened like 3 weeks ago, if you were outside of your house in Wuhan, like a drone would come down.
What?
And it'd be like, you need to return to your house. You need to return to your house. And then it would follow you home. And then the Chinese government put out a ad about this. And they're like, look at how we're protecting you. And then they sped up the drone chasing people home and added like a really happy tune to it.
Really? Like do-do-do-do-do-do. Drones, disinfective robots, supercomputers, the coronavirus. I'm just looking for a couple of YouTube videos. China uses drones to warn its citizens about the coronavirus. Let's check out this video. This video is coming out of...
Look, yo, auntie. See, and he calls it the auntie or uncle. You shouldn't walk around without a mask.
China uses drones to warn the citizens about the coronavirus. And then it shows... this is just one of those videos to read anyways. Equipped with speakers and warn citizens about the deadly coronaviruses. Let's see what it says.
又往外跑，别笑了，赶紧骑你的3轮车回家，对吧？没事别往出跑，你看口罩也不戴，你还看啥？赶紧走，对吧？
So, okay, that's kind of creepy.
How creepy is that? Hey, uncle, go home.
A drone that just comes up to you and tells you to go home. Like, literally, you shouldn't be out here right now. Please go back to your house. And do you think it's going to...
follows you home.
Do you think it's not going to stop? Like, it's just going to keep fucking bugging you?
And then they'll just put you in a register, you know, some government list.
小朋友，现在是非常时期，别在外面溜达，口罩也没戴，赶快往家走。现在这个冠状病毒多严重啊！快跑
！Runs home，
别再出来了啊！在家好好待着，为社会做贡献。
Stay home. Stay at home is contributing to society.
Stay at home is contributing to society?
That's what that last phrase said. Oh, man, these are fucking crazy times.
See, so this is why we need to limit the government as much as possible and have separation of government and, I mean...
and businesses and shit like that.
Dude, because otherwise that is literally, like, the future.
Because that's the beauty of, like, the internet, right? And, like, Facebook and YouTube and all this shit, that at least we can talk with each other. Be like, dude, I'm having some trouble here in fucking Illinois. They're locking us down.
Puffy stabby?
Yeah, right? Oh man.
Well, and like China edits all their internet,
everything's censored.
And then they create the content. Like, this is the truth.
Because you can only access certain things when you Google it. You Google stuff, only certain things are going to come up. But that's what's crazy about our internet and stuff too. That kind of stuff happens too, but it's only because it's the most popular stuff that people don't want us to see.
Well, and too, like, what was so funny when Snowden came out with, you know, releasing all that stuff, saying the government does surveillance. Dude, like, our parents' generation, oh my God, they would never do that. For us, we knew that this was happening 10 years ago.
So it's not as like mind-blowing.
Right. It was just like, of course they were doing all this. And at least, like, if they can work together, that's one thing. But for them to just, if there was like a national registry, which is like, you know, Social Security, and there are national databases.
Yeah, now with fingerprints and all that shit.
Well, China, they can do the facial recognition, and then they have a database that they know all their people, and they can pick you out of crowds and stuff.
See, that's what blows me away, is that China does it willfully and tells their residents that they're doing this, but does America do it behind the backs?
But in America, it's like, in my opinion... So going back to the having a gun in the apocalypse, you want to have that because there's only like from what APD has like 800 officers.
Okay.
And Albuquerque is 560,000 people.
That's a big, like, the ratio is pretty crazy.
So in a normal functioning society, you're like, I'm not going to speak because I may get pulled over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, I'm not going to do this because I'll probably get caught.
But the likelihood is way more that you won't.
And especially during like a collapse where everybody's like just at home and the police can barely even keep order, which we've seen like even over the past few days here in Albuquerque. Like, did you see that there was a video of a truck driving down I-40 east to Louisiana right over here?
Yeah.
And then it, like, the person killed himself, like, right next to the Macaroni Grill after a super long chase with, like, 50 cop cars.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I did see that, yeah. And okay, that was pretty stupid too, because why is every cop on that chase?
I'm like, what the heck? Like, a lot of people were saying that too. Like, what? It would look like a parade. There were like 60, 70 unmarked cars. The dog catcher. We're like, well, why does this truck just have lights on all of a sudden?
That was crazy.
And then, like, they had the truck itself had 3 wheels, and it took 50 cars to follow him
to wherever. I didn't get to see the end. I don't know what happened.
It was like right on Louisiana, and I-40. He like crashed right there by the Macaroni Grill.
Okay, and it just ended there. They just killed. He pretty much died on impact and shit like that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So, dude, that was like 2 days ago, and now all the police are at all the Walmarts. I mean, it's like literally
intense. Fuck.
And Albuquerque, man, it was already rough enough when everything was working correctly.
Right? Because we were ranked pretty high up there in most dangerous fucking cities and shit like that.
So the Department of Justice identified 7 cities in the United States that were like super dangerous and are doing like a huge concentrated effort on those 7 cities.
Yeah.
And Albuquerque's one of them. So it's like Albuquerque, Kansas City, Detroit, New Orleans. I mean, it's like the really...
I don't know how well this list is, but this is a list from Wikipedia of the most dangerous cities. And obviously it starts off with like in alphabetical order.
Oh.
But New Mexico is on this list. I don't know what these rankings are. Total... doesn't say rankings of it, but it does have the list of what has been done. Like,
the per capita.
Yeah, of like rapes, robberies, assaults total.
Mm-hmm.
And in New Mexico, man, 500. There's only certain, like, look at Las Vegas, dude. This is 56,000. 56,000 total
of the population.
Of the total population of crimes probably committed by people, right?
I think that was just the population, and then the.
So that's the population.
So then, like 12.
Wait, there has to be way more than 56,000 people.
No,
here.
561,000. Yeah.
I thought there was more, at least 1 million.
Well, I think in like including Rio Rancho.
Yeah.
And then Los Lunas.
Okay.
But like in Albuquerque alone I think it's 560.
Okay, and these are the crime rates of what's going on.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, violent crime, the total. Okay.
Yeah, we are pretty high up there. So this having an apocalypse where society has a further breakdown, like a complete breakdown, is not going to help anything at all.
Yeah, see, why the fuck is like Michigan, Detroit? Yeah, see, we're up there.
Yeah, Detroit is a pretty... Like I said, they identified like 7 cities in the United States that were just rough, and Albuquerque was one of them.
That's kind of scary to think about. Like, why would we be on there? 10 by Forbes. Forbes 10 most dangerous cities. You think we made this list?
I hope so.
Damn. I don't know. I'm waiting.
Number 1.
Why the fuck is it not loading? Detroit's number 1.
Oh, yeah, Detroit. Detroit is pretty rough.
Detroit is number 1. Number 2, St. Louis. St. Louis is number 2.
I'm a Cardinals fan.
Oklahoma
and a Rams.
Oklahoma is number 3.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Just the whole state. Like, this is the most dangerous place in the United States, Oklahoma.
All right, let's see what's next. Memphis is number 4.
Oh, yeah,
Memphis is number 4. And this is just a Farb's list. Birmingham, Alabama.
We made Forbes.
Is number 5. Birmingham, what the fuck?
Dude, I've been to Alabama. That place is wild.
Atlanta is number 6.
Oh, ATL. These are all my vacation spots.
Baltimore's number 7.
Yeah, Baltimore's rough.
Baltimore's number 7.
We just gotta get to Albuquerque soon.
Stockton.
Oh yeah, California.
Stockton, California is number 8. Number 9 is Cleveland. And number 10 is Buffalo.
Oh.
Damn, dude, we're not even on that list. But see, that just proves that this is just a bias thing.
Liberal media.
Whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for joining, listening to our rants of all this bullshit. That's what's up. We got
This is what happens during a quarantine.
Yeah, dude, just hanging out, getting insight about what's up. But then again, I've told people again, nobody does this anymore. Nobody sits around and talks for about an hour of just
bullshitting.
Random
on one
stuff.
Subject.
Anything. Like, we could have gone into so many other subjects, so many different things, just talking. Nobody talks anymore.
Well, dude, nobody got a setup like this.
That's the other shitty part too, right? It's like, oh, okay, let's do it if it's broadcasted. But that makes it, like, if you guys are interested, you'll listen. If you're not, you won't. Maybe we have mutual ideas. Some people do, some people don't. Like, that's the beauty of this podcast.
Well, dude, I mean, a big part of it too is the audience. Like, whenever you have a guest, I always like to leave questions and roasts and things like that.
It does make the interaction a little more.
Yeah,
it does make it.
And dude, you know what? It is way better when it's live as well. You know what I mean? Because if you watch something else, it's like, all right, whatever. But if it's live, you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, because the like, you don't know what's gonna happen. That's always a great thing, or what's gonna come up, or whatever.
Right? There's this radio station, and I thought it was like pre-recorded, but the guy does it on maybe like a 10-second delay or whatever. But now he started broadcasting it on Facebook Live, and it's way more
nice.
Because you can kind of like even say stuff to him and make comments, and he'll like engage a little bit.
And that's
more.
like what you said, right? You like the Facebook Live thing because you interact with more people that you know, the demographic and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to start, like we were talking about, I want to start my own conservative radio show.
Oh, yeah, there you go, too. We're going to
talk smack about people.
Get shit going.
Start drama.
And that's the beauty of it, because it's just getting people to get aware.
And exactly, it's going to be educational. People will enjoy it more. So I want to call in like the two different opponents and let them debate.
That'd be sick.
You know?
Just try to keep it civil, because that's going to be hard, too. Is like, if they're not face-to-face with each other, a conversation with the two on call is kind of hard.
Dude, like, and especially, it is kind of easy to say things like disrespectful on Twitter.
That's
Twitter fingers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're next to somebody... And not even so much like, oh, this person will punch me if I say something disrespectful. But even just literally like standing across from somebody, be like, all right, well, I'm not going to.
Yeah, your different opinions on stuff. Does it really reflect who you are at that time? That's what's going to be crazy to see. Dude, that's a good idea, man. That's a good idea.
So I need your technical expertise so we can have like a dial in, a phone in.
And get those two people talking. Even maybe you can have like fucking, you're reading the comments and they're just like, oh fucking.
The different questions and everything.
Hunter 37 said blah, 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 blah. And you can just get some people's input.
Yeah, Hunter's my dog's name.
Really?
So I'm particular for that.
Damn, that's it.
Hunter S. Thompson, I've had her for 10 years. I was just thinking about it.
Aww.
Dude, long time.
See, that's going to make me sad when I have my dog up to that long, because I've only had my dog for 3 years, but still, like...
Dude, all my relationships, my longest relationships have been like a year, it's been like a few months, everything like that. It's like, whatever. Me and this dog, 24 hours a day, college, going on walks, moving, Denver, 10 years, you know what I mean?
That's a commitment.
As a puppy, too, I got her. Like, I went up to Santa Fe at my uncle's house, and he had a litter of all these dogs. And it was like different types of dogs and everything,
Yeah.
Just like res dogs, pretty much. And they were all like jumping on me, and one was just laying down, chill, not doing anything. And for some reason, I just literally like reached and picked up this dog, and I'm like, this is it.
This is the one.
This is the one.
Damn.
So I knew the name of what I was going to name my dog, Hunter S. Thompson, but then I picked a female dog. But Hunter is still like a girl. It can't be a girl's name.
And that's what's crazy too, because when I got my dog, she was just I didn't know what the sex was, because she was 3 months born, and then the owner was like, I can't take care of her as well. She's always stuck in a kennel, so I want to give her away. And I was like, I'll take the dog. I can take care of it.
Oh, nice.
But she actually worked at like a veterinary office, so she was like so paranoid that like, you got to make sure that you keep the dog inside, take care of it, don't let your dog stay outside. And I'm just like, God, you're such a paranoid, like, crazy lady. Like,
my dog in my yard will find like bones from years ago and will eat it, or like a rock from a year,
But you'll like
eat a rock.
You'll probably like leave the dog if you go somewhere. You'll just be like, okay, sometimes I'll leave it inside, sometimes I'll leave it outside, right? You'll make a decision. This lady was like, you better make sure that the dog doesn't stay outside when you go out. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's funny.
So she didn't want to give it to me. She was like, no, I don't trust you. So I was like, I'll actually not do that. that, I'll keep the dog inside, blah blah blah. And
this one?
Yeah. And BB, that's my first dog. Like I've never had another I used to have cats and shit like that, but this is my first dog. And like there are some times where I get frustrated with her because I'm just like, fuck, you chewed up my shit, you fucked up my shit. But then other times when I come home and I'm fucking down and fucking, she's just like, we're just singing together and shit. I'm just like, this is pretty sick.
When I was in college, it was like nothing to do, just homework. I'm like, thank goodness I have this dog.
The dog, right?
And then now, with the quarantine and everything, dude, without a dog,
it just feels better.
I'd be like, man, no other living thing, you know what I mean, around me. So, but she's a pit bull. A lot of people think she looks like a boy. Still
nice.
Yeah,
that's what everybody gets. Everybody thinks that dogs are mostly male. I feel because that's what everybody thinks of my dog too. And then I'm just like, no, she's a girl.
Mine is like super territorial and everything, and got a big old bark. It's like a pit bull and a blue heeler mix.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. I don't know if is that like actual, or have you done like a genealogy test on the dog?
Like 23andMe.
Yeah, they do have those.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
For dogs?
Yeah.
No, I just from what she looks like.
Because they told me that my dog is Siberian Husky and Pit Bull.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see pit bull.
See, that would be a crazy mix, though.
Yeah.
So I need to do one of those tests. I want to do it and just be like, I need to figure out the what mix he is. Because
I didn't know they had those for dogs.
They do. So we should try it out, both of us together, and then come back on the podcast and tell the results.
These are our dogs. One thing about the 23andMe, it like shows you general areas.
Broad
you know
areas.
What I mean? It's like, what the
But you
fuck?
can pay for better results.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what's kind of stupid. It's like, hey, you can get the 23andMe for $59.99, or you could get the 23andMe for $150.
Plus.
Yeah.
So have you done that?
I haven't yet.
I wouldn't do it.
You haven't? You wouldn't do it? Just because it's probably bullshit, or?
I think that
I believe my dad where he says that I have Aztec blood in me.
See, part of it too is like,
I want to know.
well, what if it turned out that it wasn't true?
Then I would believe it was a lie.
Yeah, it'd be like, that my whole story has been a lie.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's part of the reason. But would you send a sample of your DNA to the government?
Yeah.
You would?
I think they already have a sample of me.
They
I honestly already think they do.
Did you mail them one?
I was like, fuck, I hope this works. Is my semen good enough?
For the government?
Right? No, I don't know. Like, the thing that that creeps me out is recently I had to go get my fingerprints done for work again.
Oh.
Why? Again?
And they're like, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
No, not only. Okay, so what they do is they have a scanner that does all 5 fingerprints at once.
Like that?
Yeah. And then they do each one
At a time?
at a time. And then.
You have to like roll it or something?
And then that's the third one.
Oh, you have to roll it?
Yeah. The first one is all 5. Then
Where do you work? I thought you worked in a kitchen, bro.
I do.
What are you making in that?
That's why I'm saying, dude, is that it's getting a little bit more crazy with what's going on with because it happened before the pandemic.
You still haven't said which kitchen you work at.
I work at a nursing home.
Oh.
At a fucking
Okay, I can see that then.
But a big nursing home, like a fucking for like a pretty big corporation, because they supposedly they actually have a shop opened up in China. Genesis Healthcare has a shop in China. I don't know if
you
that's
better not have no coronavirus, bro.
No, I don't. They actually make us go through a sickle fucking
Coronavirus
process.
test?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So
Healthcare.
with the coronavirus, everybody's like, I want to get the test, right?
See, it is in China. That's crazy. My company is in China, guys. Anyways, go ahead. What about the test?
I saw a video of it, and they take like a foot-long
Swab.
and they stick it like 6 inches in your nose.
In your nose?
In your nose.
In your nose?
In your nose.
I thought it was just a little cheek swab.
No, it's like 6 inches. It goes into basically where your throat begins from your nose.
So that's the company I work for. Chinese or Genesis Rehab Service. But they have healthcare services in China now.
What's their coronavirus policy?
Obviously, there is.
How are they protecting their workers?
No, they're going through massive screenings. And also they're being hand sanitized at the door, and they take our temperature.
Oh.
But again, you don't show symptoms until 3 days later. Or that's just some aspects, but most of them are like not you get the virus and then you show symptoms a few days later. Mm. So say I got sick on Wednesday, I went to work Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Well, that's what happened like
for old people
in Washington.
I work for these people.
Homes.
I work for these people. I'm not trying to get fired, but
you're giving them a plug and you're gonna get you're like.
Anyways, Genesis Healthcare, I love you guys.
Hopefully your boss is too old to know how to use YouTube.
No, it's cool. I hope they
like, you're MuseMe TV.
I actually want to get my boss on the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's supposedly like an old school like DJ.
Oh, really?
He does like old school like DJs around the city and shit like that.
With the actual records?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that'd be cool to have him. He's like in his late 40s. Not super old, but still kind of old.
Well, anyway, you better get him before the coronavirus does.
Dude, there's a lot of guests that I still want to get on my podcast that I like.
I see you're like mixing it up a little bit more lately.
Yeah.
Different people.
I want to get what I used to have from the beginning is I had a lot of random people.
Oh, really?
From the first time when I started the podcast. So
the setup changed a lot more in the beginning. It's been kind of static.
Yeah, that's why I can't wait for the 100th episode. Shout out if you guys are listening. The 100th episode is coming soon because he is episode 91. So on the 100th episode, I'm just going to go over every episode. This would be like episode 1. I remember this. This was funny. Episode 2. Oh, this was a great time until I get all the way till I'm done. So that maybe it'd be like a good 2 hours or something. We'll find out, but
like a Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, kind of just a recap of
each one
of what went down. But I want to be tripping on shrooms. That's gonna be sick.
It was just like so straightforward. You're all on shrooms.
On shrooms.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
So that'll be a little more cool to deal with. I think that'll be fun. I don't know. We'll find out. Make sure to tune in. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Check it out. Shout out to the 5 viewers that are here right now. You guys are awesome. Tuning in.
Quarantined with us.
Quarantine that section. But the test, dude, that's crazy. In your nose.
I'll be like, no, I don't need to know if I have it or not.
That sounds dirty.
I'll be dirty. If I die, I know I had it. If I live, then I lived.
Damn. You haven't been tested yet? Because I know they have those like checkpoint test spots or whatever.
Yeah, like drive through. Yeah. And that's the one, they do take your temperature, but then they stick the swab in your nose.
Damn.
I'd be like, no, I'm good.
That just like reminds me of an old school STD test.
Old school STD
let
test.
me just fucking bust out Cotton Eye Joe.
Dude. Back in the day, like in Civil War, when they just used to have to cut your leg off. I mean, we've had it pretty good with like a functioning society. Now it's going to be like slowly ratcheting down. Like, no businesses, no restaurants. No culture, no music shows, no nothing. It's going to just slowly... Then it's like transportation goes down.
People have to just stay indoors.
And social distancing, dude, that's like going to... People's social skills are going to go down.
Yeah, that kind of ruins things too. It's just like I can't interact with somebody, but yet most of conversation and stuff is based off of like body language and the way you interact with people. If I'm fucking 6 feet away trying to talk to somebody, that makes no sense.
And the newscasters can't even be together, so it's like...
This technically is too close right now.
Yeah, the CDC is going to bust in here.
Dude, they're just going to be like... This is some shit.
Separate 6 feet apart.
See, that makes no sense, dude. That's fucking crazy. But I guess that's the times we're living in, though.
Dude, 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
It was all good 3 weeks ago.
We weren't dealing with this 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, yesterday, all my problems seem so far away.
Oh, man, that's a good song.
Now seems they're here to stay.
Fucking John Lennon, the beast.
Did you see that movie that came out like 2 years ago where... It was like the Beatles didn't exist.
I didn't. There's a movie like that?
It came out probably less than a year ago.
I'll check it out.
And basically this guy wakes up and he starts singing Beatles songs, but nobody else has heard of Beatles songs, so he just gets to record them and be famous as the Beatles.
Beatles Don't Exist movie. yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Now they're just coming up with movies just so they can have Beatles songs in them.
Well, that's what's crazy to think about too, because I don't know if you knew this, but the first person that owned every Beatles trademark, song, and their lyrics and everything was Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, I heard
he
that.
owned everything, and now that he died,
He's like,
boom! Look at what they're doing now. Obviously,
they're just putting it out on everything.
It's up in the air, dude.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to think about.
Uh-huh.
But then again, copyright issues, I hear after 50 years, music is free, is royalty free.
It's like 27 years after the artist's death.
After the death? I thought it's after 50 years after the release of the music, even if the artist is still alive.
I'm not sure.
So,
because I know, for example, Mickey Mouse just became in the public domain.
In the public domain?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So that was a pretty long time ago.
Because I know a lot of songs now are being like from the 50s. They're just like being able to be like free royalties and shit like that.
See, that was what Niko's Speakeasy was all about.
That makes sense, dude.
Let's sing the copyright free stuff and, throwback.
Well, I mean, it could still come back. We can still do something with it, dude.
Like, you know what? That's the other thing too. Like this coronavirus is gonna be a massive transfer of wealth, but then once kind of it dies down,
it shows what you're gonna do with it,
and then it'll be way more like, rather than all these established businesses and let's say restaurants and things, it's gonna be like a sprint to whoever can open the first restaurant is gonna be so successful because there's gonna be so much demand for it.
I hear you.
So it's like if a forest fire just went through and burned down all the trees, it's gonna be like, all right, cool. Now the ground is fertile and the seeds can grow up.
What seeds are going to be planted to grow in that spot?
Yeah. So it's gonna be, this is like a new world we're already living in that it just changed in like 3 weeks.
That's what's up. So it's crazy to think
Niko's Speakeasy will be back after all this craziness is over with.
Well, something will
be
grow.
Like the first ones, you know what I mean? Whoever's like the first out after that is gonna be like, all right,
something will grow out of this, demise,
out of the forest fire that just happened.
Out of that, that's crazy to think about. Here you go. There's little. We're gonna do
is
it
that
here,
Rocky?
bro. No, that's not even that great. I thought it would have been cooler. Anyways, Niko, we've been here for an hour and a half already. Fucking pretty sick. You already know what time it is, right? We got a game that we could do. This game is called Rapid Fire.
Oh yeah. I've been studying. I'm ready.
So Rapid Fire is a list of 25 words. You're actually going to be the last person to do the 25 words.
Ever?
Because I'm actually going to cut the list down to 10.
Oh.
And I'm going to change the words. They're going to be different words. So you're going to be the last one to do this list. So
it's word association, right?
Pretty much. I want you to say the first thing that pops into your head. The first thing. Don't think about it too much. Just whatever pops into your head. It doesn't have to be just a word. It could be a phrase as well. If I say bicycle, you can say uphill. Okay, so you can think of other things than just a word. But I do want it to be fast and the first thing that pops in your head. Everybody, you know what time it is. This is Rapid Fire. Let's get it going. Rapid Fire is 25 words. Are you ready, Niko?
Ready.
Let's do this.
Locked and loaded.
Pizza.
Pepperoni.
Island.
The palm trees.
Music.
Jammin', musical notes.
Black.
Darkness.
Trippy.
Trippy red.
Fast.
Fast car, red car.
Animal.
Zebra.
Space.
Stars.
Maze.
Corn.
Army.
Green men. Invasion.
Drugs.
Excellent.
Air.
Clean, fresh.
Pendulum.
Swinging today, politics.
Native American.
Culture, beautiful art.
Scar.
Lion King.
School.
Closed for 3 weeks.
Magic.
The Gathering card game, middle school.
Computer.
Technology, old school.
Superhero.
Superman.
Comedy.
Basement.
There you go. Bleach.
Clean.
Fame.
Stars, glittering.
Ham water.
Delicious.
MuseMe.
Excellent.
Dude, that's what's up. That is rapid fire.
Yeah, now that you do ham water, like I'm like, what does ham water taste like?
Makes you think about it more.
Makes me like, that could be good.
Just imagine keeping your ham moist. Because do you want dry ham? Who the fuck wants dry ham?
I mean, it kind of is good, like when it gets a little more texture to it. Barbecue, the burnt ends and everything.
Keep that ham water, bro.
But ham water specifically, so.
Fuck yeah, Niko. Niko, this was fun, dude. I liked it. This is a good
Third
podcast.
time's a charm.
You got to come back. We got to do this again. So you got you want to?
You got to come on my podcast,
right? Yeah, when you get things, we get things started and shit like that. We'll get things going.
We'll get the drama going,
right? I can probably come up with some good questions. Been like, hey guys, come up with this shit like that.
We'll have all the politicians calling in.
Niko, is there anything you want to say before we leave? Anything they can follow you at? Anywhere you want to let them know? I mean, you are working with politicians.
I know, right? Add me on Facebook. Like and share all my wild thoughts that I have been putting out into the universe about New Mexico politics. I feel like I have really found what... Maybe not what I'm supposed to do, but what I'm good at.
There you go.
Which I enjoy. And it is kind of like comedy was a gateway into it, you know?
Because I love how you put those similarities to it.
It's so interesting to me. So check me out on Facebook, and I'd love to I like to get my ideas out there, you know what I mean? In whatever capacity. So on Hell, I want to say thank you for this podcast. And the first podcast that we did, you know, where I was able to just kind of like lay out my whole thoughts, processes,
learned
on
a lot
of
about
things.
You and shit.
That was wild. So follow me on Facebook. Hopefully I'll be back on Hell's podcast soon.
We'll get some more shit going, man.
For sure.
Hell yeah, guys. Make sure to subscribe, follow, like, all that good shit. Tune in. Anything social media, just look MuseMe TV. That's all you got to do, guys. That's all you got to do. See you guys later.
Peace. Rock out.